your latest book, the 10 Ways to Stand Out from the Crowd, has already won two gold medals for award.
It was like, I know, when we first got the award, I was like, oh my goodness, because the story behind this book is just, you know, I've written several books, and in fact, my first book I wrote in 1998 with a major publishing company, and you know, it was the typical book. It was white pages and black print and case studies, and you know, and it was very successful. I mean, I really made a lot of money off of that book, and what happens is when we make a lot of money and we have a successful idea, we kind of figure, well, let's do it that way again, because that worked. So a couple years ago, when I was ready to write another book, you know, I was like, I'll just do it that way. So I'm thinking, you know, I'll write a book, and it got to be about 300 pages, because we're talking about balancing and leadership and values and just everything. And you know, white pages and black copy, and you know, let's do some case studies. And anyway, sent it to a graphic designer, you know, and Kendra, and she's amazing. And we sent it to her, and she's about, I think, 20 or 21 at the time. And I said, can you read this and come up with some ideas for design for the cover? So she sends me back an email, and this is what it says. You know, it says, I'm like on page 26. I'm trying my best to read it. But if I have to read another page, I'm going to die. Now, I mean, she didn't just say like I'm bored. No, she's going to die if she reads another page. So at first I'm very incensed. I'm very defensive because, well, if we have an idea and we think it's right, you know, how dare anyone else, you know, take us away from that? So I call her on the phone and I said, Kendra, what is this about? What do you mean? And she said, who's going to read this? And I said, well, business people. And she said, but I can't get past page 26. And I said, well, older people. And she goes, no, my brother's like, or someone in her life. My friend is 42 and he's like only on page 35. So I spent a long time, because what happens is when we have an idea, we want to stick with it. So we resist and we fight for status quo. And I was like, well, this is what a business book is, and no one's going to read it if it's different. She kept telling me it needed more pictures, it needed more color. I'm like, they're going to think it's a comic book. No one's going to read it. So finally, I just said, okay, show me. Give me a design of what you think. And so she comes back with, I mean, there's green tweet circles with, you know, 140 characters or less, and every page is like a piece of art. It literally is one of the most visually stunning, and that's what we got the award for, one of the most visually stunning business books. It's just amazing. But even when I saw it, I was afraid. I was like, no one's going to read this. They're not going to take me seriously, because I should have written it the way they used to. And in less than a year, it won the first award for, you know, best, most visually interesting, unique, you know, business book of the year. But, you know, two things I think are different about this book. One is it's a piece of art. Every page is a piece of art. But two, she also taught me that younger people, and older people too, we don't want to read 300 pages or 200 or 100. We don't have the time or energy or inclination anymore. So I took the top 10 business topics today, and we did a condensed book on each of the top 10. So it's not like you have to read it in order. You can read a book on leadership that's, I think, 32 pages. You can read the book that's on change. You can read the book that's on balancing home and career. So you can pick the topic you want and read it. It's fun, it's interesting, it's entertaining, but wow, tough messages, bottom line, just my style. And it's probably the book I'm the most proud of, because of the way we did it and how creative and how beautiful it is.